Is change stressing you out? For many people, the answer is yes. There's a lot that is going on in this world right now, and the reality of life is that change is the only constant in the universe. Everything is always changing. Some things change more quickly, some more slowly, but the bottom line that is that everything is always changing. And even if you're uncomfortable with change, which is the reality for some people, it's important to remember that change is a critical part of growing and moving forward and learning and healing. So change is not only inevitable, it's also necessary. But sometimes you can find yourself in a situation where the change was unexpected, maybe unwelcomed. It was something where you didn't want to change and it changed. So perhaps you feel like you've had the proverbial rug pulled out from under your feet. Maybe you're disoriented. Maybe you're feeling resentful even because you didn't want the change, you didn't need the change, you didn't ask for the change, and yet it happens. Nobody asked you, and things changed. So rather than finding yourself wallowing in your sorrows and bemoaning the change and how things used to be so much better, especially when this is one of those situations where you didn't ask for it and the change truly is not for the better, because that does happen where we encounter some kind of change that not only we did not ask for it, we did not want it, but it's not any kind of improvement or growth or forward movement. It's a setback. It's very easy to get stuck in the negative loop of that associated with that kind of change. But the key to overcoming that and not letting it only add to your everyday stressors is to find a way in which you can make this change work for you, work towards your benefit. It may take you sitting down and thinking about it. It may take you some time to do that, maybe some days or even some weeks. But I highly encourage you to engage in that exercise. If you find yourself in this situation where you are facing a change that you didn't want or didn't expect and is not a change for the better, it is truly up to you. It is critical that you embrace this way of thinking and this way of acting. It is truly up to you to make this unwanted disadvantage of a change become something that helps you, that serves you, that is to your advantage, that works for you, not against you. I can give you an example from my personal experience. Recently, my gym closed. This was a gym that I attended for years. I've been with them for many years. I had my routine. They had all the amenities I wanted. They had the equipment I wanted. They had the hours I wanted. It was perfect. I did not want it to change. I did not need it to change. It was the perfect distance from me. Everything was just right. It was the Goldilocks of situations. But they closed, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. And the only options that I had for other gym options were lesser options, lesser gyms. And none of it was going to work for me the way it has with my old gym. And it took me a while to figure out. I really had to think about this for multiple days, how to make this work for me. And I decided that in order for me to get the most benefits out of my new gym experience, I had to make some changes and essentially revamp a lot of things. My workout schedule, the things I would do at the gym. But it was critical that I saw this as an opportunity to make the best out of the situation in such a way that it will still work for me. So I chose to change some things up, to add some new things that maybe I wouldn't have otherwise done because I was comfortable in my old routine. But now that I was forced to make changes, why not make changes that will enhance my routine, that will be towards my benefit, which is exactly what I did. So I took a situation that was initially heartbreaking in some sense because I had such a long history with this place and I had everything worked out and figured out and it was perfect. And then it all came to an abrupt stop. So I had to figure out how I can make this new situation into something that worked for me, that was to my benefit and my advantage. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to think that I speak only in theory. This is real. We all have this responsibility in life. So you can focus on how you didn't want the change and how the change is for the worse and how the situation is not what you want. But that's only going to stress you out. The whole point of us talking here, me talking to you with every one of these videos, is to help you to manage stress in your life, not to add to the stress in your life. So this is why I encourage everybody to take on the responsibility. Don't sit there and bellyache that such and such is unfair and woe is me and I didn't ask for it. Many people could do that, but that doesn't get you anywhere. That only makes things worse. That only brings more stress into your life. I want you to start taking responsibility for yourself and for your life and for the things that happen in your life, not necessarily because you cause everything to happen, but because you are in control of how you react. So let's break down the word responsibility, because so many people try to move away from responsibility. So many people don't want responsibility, but I believe it's only because they're not understanding what responsibility is. Responsibility is not a bad thing. Responsibility is not a negative thing. Responsibility is your ability to respond. Responsibility is your ability to respond. Be glad to have an ability to respond, because if I told you I'm taking you away your ability to respond, no more, never again, you don't get to respond, I will dictate everything for you, you would probably have a big problem with that. Most people would, as you should. Imagine not being able to respond. That would be the ultimate enslavement. So the flip side of that is rejoicing in our ability to respond, or welcoming responsibility. So this is where our responsibility comes in. Things change. You didn't want it. You didn't ask for it. It's not a change for the better. Now what? Now it's your responsibility to make it into something that will work for you. And this is not just limited to perception. This is actually making it into an opportunity that works for you. So in my example, I decided to revamp my workout, my schedule, what I do at the gym, so that I can do something new, something better, something more challenging, and see how it goes. What's my option? To sit there and bellyache and stop working out? Well, that's not acceptable to me. That's not an option as far as I'm concerned. So this is where our personal responsibility comes in, and I want you to embrace it. I don't want change to be that rug that gets pulled out from under your feet. Because, my friends, change is everywhere, changes all the time, and not all change is the kind of change that you want. So you have to be able to spin it around and turn it into something that is for you, that is for your benefit, that is to your advantage. So I want you to focus on that. As you move through the week, as you move forward, think about the changes that you are encountering and think about whether those changes are causing more stress in your life or not. And if they are, take responsibility to flip that around, because chances are nobody else is going to do that for you. You know why? Because that's your responsibility. If you'd like to learn more about a comprehensive approach to stress management, check out the link below.